Wisconsin beat up on Ohio State today. The Badgers are rolling. I think that's the only way that you can properly phrase it. The final score of that game tonight was 78-68. It's a little bit of revenge for a loss that Wisconsin took at Ohio State. That one was 73-55 back in December. The Badgers, they've won 6 in a row. Johnny Davis didn't even play well tonight. Tio, what do you make of this team?
It all came down to my main man, Tyler Wall. I mean, how well did he play? Coming into the game, only, what was he, 0 for 17 from three? And you got to be happy for the kid. Over the last 3 games, he's ended up with 16, 20, and 21. And just having an extra guy like that besides Johnny Davis and besides Brad Davison, give them that third weapon. If he can be that for them consistently, man, this Wisconsin team, it's not your grandpa's Wisconsin team. This is a high-scoring Wisconsin team. Got some weapons now. If Tyler Wall turns into another offensive weapon who can space the floor from his position, I mean, that just creates even more advantages for their team. And we had the head coach, the man of Wisconsin, with us a little bit later. But golly, offensively, they're playing faster, they're more fun, and even on a night with Johnny Davis not playing well, when other guys are able to step up, this team is still dangerous. And that, if you're a Wisconsin fan, you have to be really happy.
Yeah, Steve, let me ask you this question. There is a style that Wisconsin teams normally play. And I know that you guys weren't in the same conference, but you've had some experience going up against these guys, whether it's in the secret scrimmages or playing exhibitions or whatever it is. So what they're doing now, the way that they're playing with a guy like Johnny Davis is different than what we've seen out of a typical Wisconsin team. It's been a long time since they've had a guy like Johnny, maybe Devin Harris or Orlando Tucker. And we're going back a pretty long way. That's before T.O. played. That's how you know that those guys are pretty old. So how difficult is it kind of to adjust what you do from season to season the way that Coach Card has?
Yeah, I think what Greg's done, and you'll hear when we talk in our interview with him, is, he's played to those guys' strengths. And Johnny's a phenomenal talent. And we were joking off air about the pull-up three in transition that he shot the other night. And somebody made just jokingly a comment, what's Bo Ryan thinking right now? But I think when you have great players like that, especially a talent like Johnny Davis, who has a legitimate chance, like we talked about, to be National Player of the Year, you've got to give them a little bit more rope. You've got to give them a little bit more freedom. You got to let them play through mistakes. Brad Davison is a guy that, made huge shots for them tonight. He goes 4 for 6 from three. He has 20 plus points. And so when guys like Tyler Wall and Brad step up, Johnny doesn't have to have his A game. On nights when he struggles, he's got the other guys struggle a little bit. He's got to be that All-American. But I think Greg's given him a little bit of rope to kind of be himself. Johnny can score in so many different ways. The old traditional Wisconsin way where they post those guards. He can face you and drive you, and then he can make threes. Really, really good player. And Greg's done a great job of just kind of letting those guys be themselves. Steven Krause really gotten better around the basket, and he's growing. And then they got depth there with Voigt off the bench. And Chucky Hepburn as a freshman they're good. I'll tell you the one thing, and we hadn't talked about this yet, but you're getting halfway through the season now. In a couple weeks, the top 16 listing is going to come out. Well, you got one regional in Milwaukee, and then you got a final. So you got an Elite 8, Sweet 16 regional that's going to be in Chicago. Well, they're 14-2, and they're 5-1 in the Big Ten. And he's not going to talk about it with his team, but that's things we need to talk about. Or
they're trending towards the top 2 seed with some of the wins that they have. I don't know how many teams are going to be able to put together Houston on a neutral at Purdue. Those are probably 2 of the 10 best wins that anybody has this season, and we're talking about a 14-2 team. There's a very real chance that this group could be a top 2 seed. And I'll tell you what, T.O., I think you're exactly right about Tyler Wall being the way that they get to a ceiling, right? In this 6-game winning streak they've had, Tyler Wall has averaged 15.5 points in those 6 games. In the last 3, he's averaged 19. He's gone for over 20 in the last 2 games that they've played. And I believe both of those are career highs, if I am not mistaken. So I got to ask you, when you have that third guy going, what does that do for the other? We know what Brad Davison is, and we know what Johnny Davis is, right? But when you have that third guy going, how does that open up the offense? How does that allow some of the guys, the stars, to go and make a play?
Well, if he shoots it well, it spaces the floor. But to go back to what you said about Brad Davison, I think people forget, like, sorry, I'm not even answering your question. I'm taking this completely
go wherever
way.
you want, man. It's your show. You're the star.
But I think people forget and they get caught up in the wrong stuff with Brad Davison. That dude's a really good player. And regardless of the elbows, the emotion, all this stuff that he does, the guy does winning things. 25 points tonight, guards everybody, can stay in front, knocks down shots. And it seems like every time that a team makes a run, it seems to be Brad Davison. I think that's why he gets on everybody's nerves, because he just kind of makes things happen at the end of the game. Right when EJ Liddell fouled out, he knew right away how many fouls he had, who was about to sub out of the game. I think there was 5 minutes left to go. Now that's significant too. But that team guards, there's a toughness about them. Ohio State went 3 of 19 from 3. For them to be able to cover space, guard the 3-point line, especially when they shoot the ball well from 3 themselves. I mean, that was the biggest difference in the game tonight. 10 threes to 3. I mean, in Wisconsin's favor.
And Wisconsin has not shot the ball well from the perimeter this season.